Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. Now we're going to have a rehouse today of a spider that I have been after for some time, and for a number of different reasons. Whenever I've had the opportunity to pick some up, I've looked at them and then I've thought, maybe not, I'm not going to do it, and I've waited. Now some time back now, we picked up a collection and there was one in this collection. So I decided, right, this has forced my hand a little bit, and I thought, right, I'm going to keep this spider and we're going to see what happens. And it is the Megaphobema I can never say this, mesomelas. It is the orange leg from Costa Rica, the Costa Rican orange leg. Now this is a very, very beautiful spider, and it's very similar to our Megaphobema robustum in terms of where they're from, how they're kept and things like that. Now the main reason I have steered clear of them is because all of the literature that I had read in the past all stated that these guys need to be kept very cool. As you know, my room is 80 degrees in here, so I didn't really think that we had the right environment to keep them that cool. Now, that being said, it's never really sat very well with me, and I've always been a little bit on the thinking that I know everyone's saying they're being kept cool, but is it really that necessary? Now, recently, since having this particular spider, I thought, well, it's here now. Let's see what we do. So we've kept it in the tub that it came in, and we kept it quite low down on the shelf, and it appears to be doing really, really well. It's also molted, it's feeding well, it's not really showing any signs of any sort of discomfort. Everything is looking good, even though it's in this very, very basic box with nothing else. So I figured that the chap that actually had this originally had reared this from a sling, and he's got it to this size, keeping it just like it is in this box. So I'm thinking, well, we'll just carry on like that, which is what we've done for the last few months. And I say we've had it molt out. It's done really well. It doesn't seem to be too bothered by the temperature in this room. Now, going back to places like arachnoboard and things like that, it's not very often I ever go on them, but if there's something specific, I like to hear what other people are saying. And there still seems to be a huge amount of confusion as to whether they need it hot, cold, whatever. There's people that have been keeping them successfully around about 70-75 degrees, no problem at all. There's others saying if you keep it at 80, you're guaranteed to kill it. And yet there's others again that have kept them at 80 and they say they're absolutely thriving. So where do we go? This is the big question. And this is one of the things that I'm always telling you guys. When you watch our videos, we show you how we do things and how it works for us. But I still encourage you to go and look at other people and see how they're keeping things, and just do a little bit of background research on these different people and see that have they got any kind of clarity in what they're saying. Because if they've got a proven record, then you can take on board what they're saying. If it's someone that's just got one and it lasted a couple of weeks and died, I would not bother listening to that person. I would push them aside and I would look for someone that's actually got long-term experience in that particular species. And they're the people that I try and gain their knowledge and find out how they went wrong and how they succeeded and all the rest of it. And that is what you should be doing with this channel. You know, sometimes we succeed, sometimes we fail. We try and cover everything. But it's very important that we get as much knowledge as possible. And like I said, this is a spider that I've often thought about getting, but always steered clear of. So now we've got one. We're going to go with our gut feeling now, because we're lucky. We've managed to keep an awful lot of varied spiders. And by doing that, we can often pull the knowledge that we've gained from other spiders, and we can put it all together and we can create a scenario where hopefully a spider that we've never kept before, we are a little bit more advanced than say a complete beginner, because we have got prior knowledge to fall back on. And this is where we're going with this. So we are going to set up this 30 by 30 by 30. This in itself is already a challenge because we're taking it out of a very basic box that it's done so well in, and we are going to change it. So the reason we're going to change it is because we'd like to see more of this spider, to be honest. It's such a pretty spider. So we are going to fill this up. Now, I say that there is information on these spiders, but it's very, very patchy. Oh, it's very hit and miss as to how much of it is usable. And of course, there's lots and lots of people have kept them. Some have done well with them, some not so well. So we need to try and find out the best way that is going to work for us. Now, as you can see here, we're actually throwing in quite a bit of substrate here. And that is because these guys, they do like a moist substrate. So what we're doing is we're going to bank it up to the back here where we've got some nice serious depth. Keep it a little bit lower at the front. I think we can get a little bit more in there. Hopefully I've brought enough moss with me. Look at that. Right, so what we're doing, I'm going to fill this up to the front. As we said earlier, this is a 30 by 30 cube, and we're looking at getting some serious depth in this. So we've got a piece of bark here. We can open the front door. There we go. No more reflection, eh? That works better, doesn't it? Right, so we're going to dig that down into there. She might not use this. She might just choose to dig her own hole, which is perfectly okay. That's fine. We don't mind that. We're going to cover that up on there.
Open the door for us, please.
We're going to open the door again. Oh God, I don't know. Right, so we've got some moss here. I could probably have done with bringing a bit more. We might end up having to go down and get a bit. That's going to be frustrating. Right, what we're going to do, we're going to put this moss in here. Now, one thing that we do know is that these guys do enjoy a nice damp substrate, very much like our robustums. They're the same. They like that as well. So what we're doing is we're taking a little bit of knowledge from our robustums, and we're hoping that that knowledge is going to serve us well in regards to how we keep this particular spider. Now we've got our water bowl here. We're going to put that down in this front corner here. I'm thinking maybe, I think that'll do. I think we'll get away with that amount of moss. Yes, thank you, my dear. Right, so we're going to give that a bit of a spray. Now we're also going to literally soak. This substrate that we're using is already damp, but it's not hugely damp. So what we're going to do, we are going to flood this out a little bit so that it's got a nice water content to it. Now we can see this in the side here. If we come round here,
Come back a little bit, Dave. That's it.
now you can see now the difference in the colour as we soak this through. You notice we're giving it quite a lot of water, and this is because this is a 30 cube, and the whole centre of this is going to be much drier than this front piece here. So what we're doing is we are literally just going to get that down there like that, and we're going to do the same on the back. So if we spin that round, we can see the back.
To you. That's it.
We can see it all coming down in here now.
To me a little bit. To me. No.
Come closer, my love.
I can see it. It's good.
So we're going to give our moss a good soaking as well. Now hopefully the moss is going to help to retain some of this moisture within the soil. It should do. Now also the moss is also quite a good indication as well, because this is moss that we've collected from the outside, and it often does better when it's a little bit cooler. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see how it responds in this enclosure. We're going to keep this enclosure a little bit on the low side, so we're going to hopefully keep it within the sort of high 70s to 80 degrees, which is what it is in here. All right, let's spin this around here. Get that to there. Is that all right? So we've got a really, really nice, simple, basic enclosure. We're hoping she's going to build her home in here. That being said, we've noticed that this spider, well, I say it sits out all the time. It hasn't really got a lot of choice, because it hasn't actually got anywhere to hide. So, but it has done so well. So we're going to take this lid off. Look at that. Now this is meant to be a female, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I hope she doesn't disappear. Well, she's coming out. Whoa. No, we don't actually, oh, didn't really want that. There we go. I'm going to let her go in. And as you can see there, she was quite keen to come out, and literally just by, I'm going to get her to go down onto the floor. I'd be happier with her on the floor. So we're going to use our box. And we're going to see here, we're going to use our box. So we're going to literally, almost like catch cupper, like that. This is just to save her from falling to the floor. And we can very slowly, see how she just let go then? We can very slowly allow her, she's a little bit jumpy. Calm down. Settle down. There we go. Hopefully she'll settle down. We can just keep have a little look at her. Do you want me to turn her around a little bit?
That's it. I can get in a little bit over here if you turn it some more. That's it. Thank you.
So as you can see, she's absolutely beautiful. Now they get the name the Costa Rican redleg, and as you can see there, orange, sorry, yeah. And you can see there that she is really dark. That abdomen is really dark. I don't know if we might get a little bit of light on her, because she does pop in the light. We'll see how she responds, because I'm down the front here. Look at that. Now that is a very pretty spider. So we're going to find out whether these guys need it to be absolutely cool, or whether we can get away with keeping them a little bit on the warmer side.
Just let you get in there for a pickie.
Yeah, I'm going to get a picture, because we don't often get the chance to get a really nice picture. Hopefully we've got one there. Bit shaky one-handed. So yeah, so we're looking, we just need to find out now whether we can keep them that little bit warmer. How important is the temperature? Many are saying that it's more important keeping these guys in a nice moist environment, temperature not being so important. I think where the importance of the temperature probably comes about is through breeding. It might be a case that we need to keep them a little cooler to get them into condition. I really don't know. So this is going to be an experiment for us, and we will see how we go. I wouldn't have thought she's probably quite ready at breeding age yet. Probably could do with being another molt out. So we will give her the best care that we can. Try and get another molt. As we said, she's already molted once in our care. And she is absolutely beautiful. This is a stunning, stunning spider. Now, we have seen them online, mainly in Europe, where people have bred these guys. And they are quite a big, substantial spider. So I think this one's got a little bit of growing to do. Now, in terms of appetite, you would think for a cooler spider that they would have a slower appetite, but this one in here, as she is a good feeder. She doesn't refuse much at all. I don't think she's even ever refused a meal. So we've got real high hopes. What a beautiful spider.
It's nice how the legs change. She's like mostly orange on the front ones, and then they go to stripy.
Yeah, that colouring in the legs is just something else. And this is almost like a tropical Hamori, but better looking in my opinion. I think this is something special. This is a very, very nice spider. So it's going to be an interesting thing now, because like I said, this is a new species for us. We've not kept these before, so we are really a little in the dark. And this is one of the important things about the hobby, is, you know, quite often there can be a lot of information out there regarding different species of spider, but as you read through it, very, very much of it is conflicting. So you end up as a beginner coming away being more confused than what you was when you started. So it's very important that when you're looking for information on spiders, or anything in particular, to be fair, then that you get it from a varied source. Read as much as you can from as many different people as you can. Try and weed out the information that is loose. And by loose, I mean try and weed out the information that has not got much weight in it. So if you've got people that are giving husbandry advice on things that they've only ever kept once or twice and not particularly long, then that information isn't as valid as someone who's actually kept one for a long period of time. So longevity in it is often one of the key things that we're looking for in information. We also we need to break that information down. Just because I've kept a particular spider for maybe 10 years and it survived doesn't mean I actually kept it particularly well. So what we now have to look at then is we're looking for the people that have kept them for a long time, but then those that have actually bred them as well, because that is often a real key indicator as to whether they were actually thriving.
They're optimum.
Yeah, they were kept at their optimum state. You know, they were kept in perfect condition, enough for them to breed. So that is the people that we are looking to gain as much information as possible from, because their information is valid. You then have to take that information and try and fit that into your individual scenario. So how we keep a spider here will be different to how you keep it at home. Now, so what you do then is you take all of that information, you try that information in your environment, and you have to tweak it. So, you know, you might find that you need it a little bit cooler, a little bit warmer, a little bit more humidity, you know, all sorts of different things, but you tweak that information. You've got the core information, it's all there, you now need to tweak it and make it fit your particular environment. And that is what we are going to be doing now with this spider here. We are going to be absolutely scavenging as much information as possible and then putting that together in our environment. And like I said, we already keep the robustum, and we're keeping them well. They're thriving. They're doing really, really well. So we are taking the basic husbandry from the robustum and putting it into this spider here. They are pretty much very, very similar spiders. So we can do that. We can take that information and use it for another spider. And this is quite often, you'll hear us saying this, you know, you often get people come up and they're like, oh, I've got a certain wolf spider, but I don't know anything. I can't find any information on it. Well, pretty much generally, it's going to be very similar to all the other wolf spiders that are out there. So you find the ones that are coming from the same countries and what have you, and then you can use that information to keep your new wolf spider. And this is how we do it, and this is how we learn. So it's very, very important that we do these different bits. I'll pick a bit of rubbish out of me moss there. Didn't want that.
You should actually got onto your hand, Dave. It's like the temperament of them. You didn't really panic about
yes.
Them, so their temperament.
Yes, that is a good point, actually. As you know, here in the Beastie Room, we don't advocate handling. Now, you will often see when a spider tries to come out, depending on what that spider is, sometimes I will put my hand over to actually shield it from going anywhere that I don't want it to go. Now, most spiders will duck down and find another way. As you saw with this girl here, she just saw it as another obstacle in her way, and she literally climbed straight out onto my hand. Now, straight away, this is not a spider I would recommend trying to handle. Same as the robustum, I wouldn't want to handle one of them either. You know, these are spiders that are, I wouldn't say they are massively defensive, but they are quick to look after themselves. So we need to be very, very careful. In the instance when she came out and she climbed onto my hand, you notice I moved my hand from the box straight away to here. We weren't mucking around looking for a way. All I wanted to do was give her something to climb off of me so that she wasn't on my hand anymore. I didn't want to maintain holding her. So we just brought her up here. Now, straight away, by being up here, you see there that she is now quite high off the floor compared to where the substrate is. She was in no real danger here, but just to secure that and to make sure that nothing happened to her, we used the catch cup and we literally just got her in there so that when she let go of this lip, she didn't fall to the floor, she just fall to the base of this, which is millimeters. And then from there, we can then put her in the thing. You saw that she was a little bit upset being in the box, and it took her a little bit of time to settle down and get her to where we wanted her to be. But once that's done, as you can see now, we're moving around above her. She's been perfectly fine, and she's just sat there. She's very happy at the moment. She's quite content. We can see by her body posture that she's not in any way stressed out. She is literally just sitting there, taking it all in and seeing what's what. Probably enjoying, to some extent, she might just be enjoying the coolness of that moss where we've just sprayed it all down and everything. I'm hoping she's going to be absolutely happy in this enclosure. But yeah, when it comes to the handling, we try and avoid it. But if it happens, stay calm. You know, it doesn't matter what that spider is. If you stay calm, there is a good opportunity that you can move it from one thing to another. Now, when she climbed out of the box onto my hand, if we didn't have this enclosure already made up ready, I would have just put my hand on the bench and I would have allowed her to walk off. Then I would have got my catch cup and I would have caught her up. Under no circumstances, if a spider gets out on you, especially if it's an old world, any of the, like the arboreal, the Asian arboreals, all these sorts of things, they've all got reputations for being very defensive and strong, potent venom. We don't know what the venom toxicity is for these guys. Don't know how strong it is. It might be really strong, it might be really weak. We don't know. So we don't take the chance. But under no circumstances, if you get one on you, do not catch cup it on your hand. You saw how she freaked out when the box was there. If your hand is underneath, there's a good chance she'll just bite your hand. If she ends up on your body, be super, super careful. You can catch cup it like this. She might just bite straight through your t-shirt. So always, always be very, very careful. We have catch cup spiders when they've been on me before now, but we're very careful, and I can read these spiders really well. If you're new to it, just try and get it off of you in a gentle way. Do not catch cup it on you. That can cause the problems. And the last thing we want is anyone getting bitten. Not a very comfortable thing, I'm sure. We're very lucky here. We've been doing this for 40 odd years, and I have never ever been bitten. And this is because we follow simple rules, and we stick with them. And if things do change, we change accordingly with it. But it's very important that we stay calm and change with it. Right. Feed wise, we're looking at not overfeeding these. They do have a good feed response, but we are looking at giving her, let's say, like a large cricket to a red runner once a week at the moment is more than enough. That is plenty. We can stretch that out to every 10 days, no problems whatsoever. Remember, we are not looking at time frames for feeding. We are looking at abdomens. And as long as her abdomen is staying like it is now, that is where we want her to be. So that will dictate when her next meal comes along. If we find her searching constantly, we might throw in a bit of food. It's all about how she behaves and what she does. Right, I think that just about covers that. That is such a special spider, and I'm absolutely stoked to have one in the collection. And hopefully, if we can get the management sorted out, we will look at breeding these in the future. But it will be in the future. We're not quite ready for them just yet. But what a wonderful, wonderful spider. Right then. Don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And we will see you soon, guys.